danger.
Hello and welcome back to another episode of the Caffeine and Sensu Beans podcast. I'm joined by the usual suspects, Chiween, Blessed. Gentlemen, how are you doing?
Doing all right.
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty good. Yeah, it's been interesting. A lot of soccer,
Soccer. We love soccer.
I obviously really enjoy watching soccer, and I've been caught up watching the documentary. I was telling this for kick that I've been caught up watching the Tottenham documentary on Amazon.
Yeah.
Where you just you just see the players and you see it could be propaganda for Tottenham. It's definitely making me like them a lot more. But it's interesting though. It's interesting to see, just kind of be a bird on like a fly on the wall, and you kind of just see the coaching techniques and how coaches interact with players, and it's definitely interesting. That's kind of been what's been on my radar so far.
Yeah. You for those that don't know, Chiween is an aspiring coach. He may or may not be the next Mourinho. My boy Mourinho.
I would love to have a soccer academy. I would love to do that.
Or the next Kike Setien, for all we know. You might be Kike Setien, the dude that can't even travel on the team bus. Yeah, no, that's interesting. We love soccer. Yeah, that boy. Yeah,
the boy.
He was he had to ask for permission. I was telling this dude, he had to ask for permission to enter the locker room, and most of the times I said no, and he was like, "All right." He had to, and he just wait in the hallway while Messi gave the team talk, and then after the whole team come out, they'd be like, "All right, you can go in." But yeah, we love soccer. We try to play it every weekend. Ideally, once this whole thing's over, this pandemic, we can get a team going. We've been practicing, refining our skills. We have a good coach that spearheads the training sessions. Yeah. But yeah, that's good. Yeah, I myself, I've been good. I was telling Chewing off air that I like Real Madrid, so we won yesterday. W. That was my first W for the day. Well, waking up is always the first W, but second W was Madrid winning. Got on Foot Champs Ultimate Team FIFA. 2-0. 2 W's right there. So I already had 4 W's before 11 o'clock. And then Khabib won. That's another W. So W's all across it. We don't have to talk about Foot Champs, how it went today. Because was looking good. I got obliterated. And
I got to hop on. I still got my 30 matches to do.
Yeah. But other than that, man, good. I've been chilling. Good. I'm ready to get into this movie, which funny enough, I don't know if you guys know, but funnily enough, this is technically not a movie. It's called a special, which is why you don't actually see Bardock in movie
Saga of the movies.
Right. For Legends or Dokkan. But yeah, let's get into it.
It was I don't know if did they cut anything out of that version that we watched on YouTube? Because mine was only 45 minutes, 46 minutes.
Yeah.
It sounds
I know he added a little
spice.
A little spice in there.
Yeah. When I saw that at first, I'm like, am I tripping?
That's what I said.
I was like, director really thinking that far ahead? I'm like, no way. I was like, no way.
That's in my notes. I'm like, this was in here. They've been thinking about this storyline for
that's what I'm saying.
30 years.
I'm like, that's crazy, bro. I'm like, and yet they still went through Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah. And GT.
Yeah, it was cool though.
Well, and for context, we had to watch a version that may or may not be the official one.
Yeah.
As of right now, we're calling it Dragon Ball Z Bardock version 2.0. It certainly had a few pieces there where you can tell the gentleman who uploaded it to YouTube. Initially he's like, I don't want to get a copyright strike. I'm gonna throw this in here, and then he got excited, added his own soundtrack. Then he added, and then he was, I got something here. Yeah. I got something here. Added another scene that was incongruent with the original and with the actual storyline. But hey, I thank him for giving us the opportunity to watch that film.
Because I saw the name Travis in the corner the whole time.
Oh, boy, Travis. Nice. He even put his watermark on there. Yeah. Let people know. Dang,
let people know that I did this.
Hey, anyone need some editing?
Yeah, I'm here. But last week we started off with kind of giving a one-word summarization of what we thought of the movie. So I figured it'd be good to kind of go around and ask you guys the same thing. If you could summarize the movie in one word, what would that word be? Chewy, I'll start off with you.
I would say worried.
Worried. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Bless, what about you?
It's not one word, it's two, but too short.
Too short?
Okay. Yeah, I thought the movie was too short, or the special.
Okay. And mine is unfulfilled, kind of in the same vein as Blessed, but maybe for different reasons. But yeah, Chiween, why do you say worried? That's very interesting. It feels like it can go many ways now.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of in the same vein as yours. Maybe it's not so that it's so much unfulfilled, but I think I say worried because reading online and like watching videos, people really enjoy this movie, or people enjoy this special. Like, I think overwhelmingly it's one of the most better received like things that they've done apart from like the canon like anime story. And like, so, and it worries me that this is one of the best ones, and I didn't think it was super good.
And we haven't watched Broly. Bio Broly.
Yeah, we haven't watched Bio Broly, so I'm worried that we've embarked on a journey that this may be its peak.
And it's downhill from here.
It's just all downhill from here. And I'm not saying that it's horrible. I'm not saying it's horrible. I'm not saying that, because there are some parts that I really enjoyed, but
yeah,
and it just worries me that that's what it is at.
The movie is 30 years old, or the special.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Now, I would agree with you in the sense that if this is peak performance, we're saying if this is Dragon Ball Z and Akira Toriyama firing on all cylinders, if this is him when he's at his most inspired, then yeah, maybe a little worried, because it's definitely all downhill from here. But I think there are a few more movies in the locker here that may surprise you. Yeah.
That
I think
are good,
you're in for a treat.
Or that are like,
I mean, they're all over the place, but there's a few that I think may surprise you. The one with what's the guy that has Harudagon, that plays the flute and has a sword? Wow, I can't believe him. Tapion, right? Mm-hmm. So I think I like that one. I think you guys may like it also.
The BoJack one was pretty cool.
Yeah, the BoJack one is nice, dude. I like the BoJack one. But yeah, it's interesting you say that, like worried, because I agree. I did like the film or the special, and granted, we watched the version that we watched, so it definitely felt a little choppy at times. There was a point in the movie that we saw where there was actually no dialogue, or it was muted, right? So,
and then they redid the
I think my guy forgot
it.
And then they replayed it.
He's like, oh shit, I forgot this.
Are we talking about? Are we talking about when Frieza?
Yeah. At least that's when I noticed it.
Really? See, I must have just missed this completely. I thought when that happened twice, I was like, Oh, that's like a flash forward in the future because you know how he can see stuff in the future.
Yeah,
That's what I thought it was. And so it wasn't that. That was just a
no, that was just a
mistake.
mistake. Yeah, that was just. He was like, "Shoot, it's muted, but I don't want to go back and re-edit this. Slap this clip on here."
Oh my
at
god,
the
I
end.
missed so many parts of this thing.
Yeah. Hey,
I just
Bless,
couldn't get it.
you were gonna say you said too short. You know why? Why do you feel it was too?
I mean, like they could have easily. I feel like Bardock's. I am a fan of Bardock after this movie. I mean, he goes out like a G, like carrying the whole squad with him.
Yep.
While no one was believing him, was. It's cool to see that Goku's father was actually, you know, was going to be someone. You know, he was coming up. He was becoming a threat for Frieza. So it's good to see that Goku does get it from somewhere.
Right.
You know, like sometimes I would think that Bardock was just a joke, and like the genetics skipped him. But after this show, after this session, it was cool, man. Like, I really liked it. I don't remember seeing Fasha's face one time in the special. At least I don't recall that they showed her face.
Fasha?
The woman?
Yeah, she was there. They showed her.
I only saw her in the beginning, like when she, oh yeah, that's why, maybe because when I saw her again, she was dead. I just feel like they had such a long. They seem like they had a crew of cool personalities. Like they seemed like they had a decent. Like they took the time to make these guys. Like they knew each other for a long time. Like they can talk shit to each other, you know. And then they just chopped this. Like I felt like they had a. They could have easily expanded on all these guys. Tora, like, is this all we ever get to see from Tora, Fasha, and all them in the whole show? Like ever?
That's it.
And then just make a character off of that? Like, that's prop right there, bro. Like, based off of what? What moves did you give them?
Where do we get the moves from? Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
how do you come up with any special moves?
Yeah, like, that's what I was wondering. I'm like, you know, for such an important character and the squad, I feel like they just didn't do a good job of elaborating on their stories.
Yeah.
This could have easily been an hour and a half movie.
Right. And I kind of I agree.
Like the story was cool. Like I liked it. Mm-hmm. I just felt like I don't know if they just didn't know. Okay, what do we do? Is this a movie, or are we just gonna kind of show people what Bardock's about? Because I feel like this could have easily been a movie.
Do you feel it would have been better served if it was if there was like a two-part, if it was a two-part movie, or maybe even a trilogy?
No, because Bardock, maybe. I mean, obviously it can't end like this in the first one, and then they continue going with Bardock after he gets
I just mean like actually flesh out everything. All that would have been cool. Like thematic points.
I think so. Have. I mean, Tora, Fasha, Shugesh. I mean, they all seem to have personalities. They all seem to be that they're all coming up as a crew. Yeah. I want to learn about the crew. Like, if they ever want to make a movie and go back and like touch on all these guys, I'll be down to watch it. Something different, you know. I just feel like it was disappointing.
They remade a part of this.
Oh, did they?
It's called the Dragon Ball Bardock Minus or something like that.
Oh, okay. Well, we can check that out.
It's like that's where in Legends you get that yellow Bardock.
Yeah.
That yellow Bardock comes from that Minus movie. So it's like a retelling of this because Toriyama. He wasn't involved in this one. Like he was
because it's not canon.
He was involved like very minimally, and he liked it. He said he liked it, but he wasn't like the big dude in here. The one that wrote this film he went later on to make one of the ones that like nobody likes.
Evolution.
Nah, he went up to do one that like people don't really like, but I'm forgetting which one.
It's Broly.
I don't know if it's Bob Broly. It might be actually. He went on like after this. He went on to make stuff that nobody liked.
Oh, okay.
So this was the peak. So
Toriyama liked the story so much that's why he ended up making Minus. But Minus is considered not that good. But that might be something we might look into.
Yeah,
I'll be down to watch it. I mean, like I said, this one, I was disappointed because they left not because of the actual show or like the special, but because what it didn't have. Like I was like, I actually was enjoying Tora. Like they were cool, and then boom, just like that, gone.
Out of here.
And I'm like, what? Like you guys could have easily extended. Like let me know about them. Like, I mean, granted, I didn't know that this was, that they made a second version. But as far as this one, like they had something here.
And here's the thing, like Saiyans we know that they are a race, and they have warriors. That's what they are. They're a warrior race. But we don't see many Saiyans, and um, us having this opportunity to see, a group of Saiyans other than the usual
Goku and Vegeta.
Vegeta.
Vegeta was tight in this movie. I thought he was
he was a
they did
boss.
that little guy justice in that movie, bro. He was just wrecking.
Exactly.
And the way it ended,
yeah.
Spawn. I'm like, oh, there we go.
Because of course, bro. And I think part of it was like he didn't want to give off his location. That's why I was like, he doesn't want Frieza to know where he is. He knows Frieza might come in. And
well, Frieza's the one that sent him on. Remember, they told him to give him the hardest mission.
Maybe I looked too deep.
And make sure you come back alive.
But
I thought that scene was like he was just like hella like not remorseful. I didn't actually like how they dealt with that. I'm like, oh, your whole planet, and you're not gonna have any sort of like feeling.
But that's the Saiyans. But that's how they are. That's their race.
That's how Vegeta
why they ship
is.
off.
No, but he's like the prince of that planet. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't care how ruthless you are. You gotta have some sort of reaction to your home and what he's now.
A kid.
Why is he a prince now? He's not a prince of anything.
Yeah, there's prince of nothing. Saiyans, that planet's gone.
Yeah, like that. Why don't we keep calling this man a prince?
Well, I mean, there's still a few Saiyans out there, and he technically is the prince. No one's dethroned him yet. He's still alive.
Technically, his planet is gone. Isn't he? Don't you?
His planet's gone, but he's still there.
The dad. Do we get to see the dad with the Goku?
Oh, that was. It
was underwhelming.
Yeah, dude. I mean, he came in and got decimated. Like
dude, why didn't we just send Vegeta in there? Send Vegeta in there. Get this dad to sleep,
fodder,
bro.
Yeah, send some fodder guy, bro. Yeah, way like.
You're past your prime, bro. Like,
yeah,
you went
past
in there
your prime.
and you were looking like one of the I thought I couldn't tell the difference outside of the hair and goatee from the other characters in the show. Like I thought he was another
another grunt.
Just another grunt. Just tossed in. The way he went out, I'm like, ooh, ridiculous.
Yeah, insane. He went out on a shield. It was just like, it really makes you question, like, how did this man get in that position in the first place? How are we following this man if he's out here?
Let's not start poking too many holes in the story. We may not like where we end up.
That's true. But it's like I was saying, it's nice to see more Saiyans.
Mm-hmm.
And I wish, again, they would have expanded on the story more.
Well, I guess they kind of. Oh, sorry, I'm jumping on by. But did real quick, Chiwin, when you said Bardock minus, is that the storyline in the front of the Super movie, or is that a completely its own different thing?
I am not sure.
But
I know that it's like within
what I'm
like
saying?
the super. It's within like the super like.
Because in the beginning of Super, they pretty much took this story and kind of expanded on it in the beginning of the Broly Super movie.
Yes. But if you notice, so the way Bardock was actually meant to be portrayed was like he was supposed to be disgusted at Goku because Goku was like, Bardock was, he was on his way to becoming a stud, but he's a low-class warrior. Mm-hmm. And so, of course, like they don't have the power that a Vegeta does or I don't know, I guess a Nappa. I don't know.
But what about King Vegeta?
King Vegeta, they don't have that overwhelming power.
Or Nappa with the hair.
Nappa with the hair. I'm sure he wasn't there.
You see him over there.
What I want to know is what's the age difference? Because Nappa's looking like he's pushing 40 already.
Yeah, already.
You know what I'm saying? Like the man is like we're okay with this kid just going with this grown ass man.
Yeah. And then he gets
Nappa, where's your self respect? Like this kid is carrying the team. Like
that boy.
There's just some sayings that are just disappointing.
They are, for sure. I mean, you can't. Not everyone can be a stud, I guess. But you know what? Like, I liked where they started off with the story, and it felt like the only ending to this. Because they start off with Bardock on that planet, and he comes across, I forget the dude's name that they're fighting, but he's able to get that psychic power,
Mm-hmm. He gives it to him.
What was that?
As a gift. He gave it to him as a gift.
Yeah, exactly. Which becomes a curse and a gift, in a way.
Well, he sees Goku black.
I did like I like the way that they tied that power in, though. I did appreciate that. I thought that was a really clever like tie-in.
Yeah.
Dude was like, I want you to see the pain that you caused me.
Right.
Now I'm giving this to you, where you're gonna have to see your planet.
Experience it.
You're gonna have to experience it. And I thought that was actually a really cool element to the film. That I'm like, oh, that's a deep.
There's layers to this story.
There's
like I
levels,
said,
baby.
there's layers to this.
There's levels to this thing.
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I'm saying. That they could have easily made this. Like Dragon Ball Evolution gets almost 2 hours, but it gets 45 minutes.
Yeah.
Well,
but you were saying, huh? So he gets that.
No, it's good. But on that like note, I felt like I liked it because towards the end, it felt like the only thing for Bardock was death. Like he was meant to die, and if he was gonna die, because he was starting to go crazy towards the end, like his psychic power starts doing more harm to him than it does good. You know, it's like he's even like the Saiyans, they view him as a lunatic. You know, he starts to become like this outcast. He's going crazy. Like it's taking over him. So the only thing, there's no way he was just going to be like, all right, I give these powers up. And it was only going to continuously get worse. And so I like that, you know, it was a concept that Dragon Ball doesn't do too often, where it's like this main character that had the story been a little like more fleshed out, his end, like the end of the movie is not a theoretically happy ending, in the sense that, you know, the protagonist wins and here we are, everyone, hooray. Like he dies and he fails, but there's some solace within him, because he sees his son in the future avenging him and his race. And you know, Dragon Ball doesn't get that deep. Like sometimes conceptually, right, they won't be like, they've tried in the past, you know, like Goku dying and all that, and then that didn't work. They're like, oh, bring this dude back because
Sensu Bean. I know. Bring him a wish. Give him a wish.
Yeah, give him a wish. They're like, this, you can only die once, but they were like, no, bend the rules.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, you could tell that they were thinking of this story with like how this fool was saying earlier, like that there's layers, right? Like there's layers to a character, and that's what I actually really appreciate about Bardock, because you see him, he's not something special. And I think that's kind of what I like about him. And I think that there's really nothing special about him or his crew. They just happen to be the best in that. But it's not like Goku, where you kind of know he's like the main one. Vegeta, we know that he's like gifted, and like, you know what I'm saying? Like he's not that. And he is he's just a regular mercenary. And like even towards his own son, he like tells him a point of like, oh, you're just average, like energy. I thought you were something special. You know what I'm saying? Like he's just kind of even cold in that regard. And but then you also see him like struggling of like, oh, I actually kind of did want to say goodbye to you. And like, and you see that internal struggle. And I wish they would have played a little bit more on that internal struggle, because I feel like the internal struggles were left to just these like flash forwards or like flashbacks, and like that was like, okay, well, that's the internal dialogue type of thing. But to me, it almost felt like, I mean, we saw a point where we saw Goku Black, which I know that wasn't a part of it now, but it kind of just relied on that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like you could have made Bardock, and Bardock is, you know, I feel like certain scenes could have been, you know, expanded on more. Like, it felt at some points a little choppy, where Bardock's here, then he's there, then he's fighting, and now he's dead. But yeah, to your point, I can see why people like Bardock so much because of this film. He's loyal, you know, to his squad. Like
loyal to the soil.
Yeah, he's loyal to his.
Okay, so I don't know if this was in the edited or this was. Did you guys remember when he's having a little flash, like he doesn't know what to do, and he's thinking it's too late, and then Goku comes into his mind and tells him it's never too late to try to change. And that's when
that's not edited. That's
that was actually there. So that's what I'm saying. That was cool about Bardock, is that he's like, well, I don't really got much else to do. Like, we don't really got a good. I'm not gonna go out like a sucker. I'm gonna go at least try.
Yeah,
and you gotta give him props. Like everyone else, all the other Saiyans were just cracking jokes.
Playing in the cafeteria, the jocks.
Just comedy hours. Like when he walks out, it's just ridiculous. Like to me, it's just like. I will say, I think Bardock's actually. I prefer Bardock as a main character over Goku, as far as like the story. I mean, not as a, you know, at least right now. Like I really enjoyed Bardock's character in this one. And then granted, it was only 45 minutes. And the thing is, it was rushed. It was pretty choppy. Yeah. It was quick. They won the first fight when they all lost their minds. Goes back. He's in recovery. They get sent down on another mission. He has a flashback. They let him out. He just takes off and then goes from there.
Yeah.
Even with all that, he still has
rushed. Yeah, and even within all those elements, you still have some sort of attachment to him. I think on many layers, I think he hits like this core thing of this acceptance, like that we have to accept our role in life sometimes, and whether that may be hard or maybe difficult to like grasp with. Like, I think that's what I also enjoyed about Bardock is that there was a level, like he gets to a point where he accepts that this is his fate. And
he's gonna die.
And this is it. You know what I'm saying? And as we all do, even as parents, right? Like we have to accept that our children are gonna be different than us, and that we have to come to terms with that they may live a different life than what we hoped for. Because Bardock has an idea of like, well, I'm a fucking mercenary, so is my son. You know what I'm saying? And like there's like this piece of like coming to terms with.
Or
like,
when
I
Goku's
can't do
flying
this.
out and Bardock's flying in.
Yeah,
I like that one. Yeah, I
like that moment. Like that's what I'm saying. This film for being 30 years old, like very. I was very impressed with it. Like I really was. Like for it being 30 years old, edited, rushed. Like it was, and it's disappointing that they weren't able to remake it and make it, as good. But that's what happens. Yeah, sometimes it's better leave things alone.
And it's funny. I feel like Bardock is such a popular character that they could remake a movie. Maybe not put it out in theaters. They could easily remake
this one. Just flesh out the story a little more. Like, dude, I'm telling you, people would love this. Give more story to Fasha, Tora, Shugesh. Like, they were like, I was actually like enjoying them. Like, I'm like, damn, they were actually pretty cool. Like my boy Tora, like he was actually. I'm like, this is a pretty good character. Like they could expand on this guy. No, 5 minutes later, no, we're not. We're not gonna expand on any of them actually.
And it's you guys touched on it. Like there are like deeper things at play here. Bardock having that. I mean, if you look at it in a vacuum, you'd say, well, why is he a hero? He's a villain. He kills. He's a hitman for hire. Like, right? He's like, he has that internal struggle of like, that maybe every person actually has, of we have like a kind of righteous path we want to follow within our paradigm of life where we want to be good within the context of our lives, but we don't know if our overall life is actually a good one. Like, and it may be, it may not be. They're just things that go, that are above us. They're fly above different wavelengths. They're just not, maybe we can't grasp them. And he is, to no fault of his own, born a Saiyan under Frieza's regime, and he's a pawn like any other Saiyan, and he has to kill because that's what it is. Like, you kill or you be killed, and he is good at it. But he isn't. But he's not.
His job.
It's his job, but he's not spectacular at it. But it turns him. So I mean, he is really good at it, but he's not extraordinary like a Goku would be. He's almost like a common man. He's got his squad. He's got his boys.
Apparently he can remember when he turns into an ape that he can remember everything. At least that's what they say. So I mean, that's pretty special.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. But he has so many like he's a very layered character. At least on the surface, you feel like there's more here that could expand on.
Like it's crazy that he dies so early in the show. If you think about it, that imagine they would have kept. Oh, obviously you can't keep him alive, but he would have been a great character. Like they could have easily incorporated some of Bardock's layer into simple as Goku's ass, because I think that would have been a little more. Like I think honestly, like that's why a lot of people like Bardock is because he's not, extraordinary or he's grinding. He's nothing special. He gets spit on all the time. Gets treated like trash, but he's still going. Yeah, you're not even a huge fan of his own son.
And but
here we are rooting for him.
No, but at the beginning, he's definitely not, right? But there's a moment there. There's this strange like dynamic that's played on where there is a connection between them, even though part of him is, and maybe even all of him is disappointed in Goku because he's like, there's no dormant power within you that's vicious, that's like gonna take over. But there's still, when Bardock is recovering and Goku's crying and Bardock starts having those flashbacks and he looks at Goku and he's like, you see it too, huh? Because Goku's crying and crying and crying. And he says, like, you see it too. Almost like you see the fate of the Saiyan world. Because that's what Bardock sees, right? He sees Frieza destroying. That's the vision he has. He sees Frieza destroying the planet. And when he kind of wakes up, he sees Goku's crying. And they have that connection, like, oh, is this why you're crying, Goku? Is it because you see what maybe we can't see? Mm-hmm. And towards the end, he goes from like, wishing he could have been there for his son, which is something that I think happens for a lot of people who are on their deathbed. Like, everyone kind of wishes they could have done something differently. Mm-hmm. And so as he's dying, I mean, there's a moment there where he finds solace in his son, and that's why he smiles,
Well, he says he's the one that I see it now. You're going to be the one that defeats Frieza. Or is that edited?
No,
not the Super Saiyan Blue. That's actually in there. Okay, not that part.
Nah, not that one. That's edited.
I can see where the series is going. 30
yeah, exactly.
That's what I'm thinking. That's when I first saw him. Like, bro, there's no way they were planning this in 30 years. They still decided to go through Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah, I did not.
There's nothing wrong with Dragon Ball Z. It's a great anime. It's just like, if you were really thinking of that high power already, like, why didn't we just start there? Like, why didn't you just? But then again, I didn't know it was edited until you guys brought it up.
Yeah, no. I wrote it in my notes. I'm like, he's in the recovery chamber. Goku Black is shown with a question mark. I didn't know he was mentioned this far back.
And that's what I'm. And my thing is that's not even
Frieza
Goku
destroying it. Yeah, it's not even Goku.
It's not even Goku.
I actually think though. Hold up. I think my boy Travis was onto something here. I think that was the way Travis tried to portray this moment was almost like a small epiphany. Like, he sees Goku as a villain, as something that's
if he continued down this path.
Yeah, like Goku kills to just kill. Even though the Goku Black's not necessarily like.
So it would look like Bardock sees him as
a villain, and
as
he's like,
he thinks he should be.
No,
that's what he thinks he will be.
Yeah,
right. That's what I thought my boy Travis was trying to do.
But that's what Bardock wants Goku to be, though.
Goku wants him to just be strong.
I think that what Kick is saying is that Travis was trying to make it seem that, okay, if Bardock continues doing this, his son's just going to be wrecking havoc like him, but on a greater scale.
Right. Exactly.
Right, okay. Because Bardock doesn't really want Goku to like kill other planets.
I don't know what he wants from Goku.
It's hard. It's almost
doesn't
like
believe that Goku's going to be able to do it.
Yeah. It's almost like it's left to the interpreter, right? Yeah. Or to the audience.
At the end, though, you can kind of clearly see it clears out. Like he knows that his boy is going to do something special.
Yeah, but when he sees, like, they show Goku in the pod leaving, and he's like, I wish I could have been there to hold you. It's like we've come full circle. Like, here's the most vicious man, like, or one of the most. I mean, from a ruthless race, from a.
Does he even remember when his son was born?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Probably forgot about Raditz because that's a disgrace to the family if we think about it in terms of power.
They're kidnapping his own nephew.
Yeah, I mean, he was all over the place, my boy Raditz. But Bardock, he goes through this like journey throughout the movie, and he comes to, like Chiwin said, he comes to terms with the fact that he's going to die, and he's gonna die on his shield. Like, he's like, you know what? My son is safe.
Bardock is going to dip out to another planet on his.
Yeah, he could have been like, "Ooh, damn, Frieza's really doing this."
Oh, I'll see you guys later.
Give me a space pod.
Yeah,
But that's when you see that scene, Goku
that's
flying out,
and he's coming back
Bardock flying in.
Business.
It almost kind of like he's handing off the baton there, like it's on you now, and this is it. Like this is where my end is. Yeah, and I felt like that was the only end for Bardock. You know, I don't know if it's to say like he atoned for his sins, you know, or for him to, you know, because if you take it at a surface level, this dude is killed. Like,
yeah, he's killed. He's getting what he has dished out, and I think that's what's deep about his death is that like you're getting exactly what you have done to other people,
and he comes to peace with that. That's why he doesn't try to run away.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's not like,
because he knows that he's messed up. He knows that he's done this to other people, and I think that's what I'm saying. I'm like, I enjoyed that psychological element. I wish I don't know if they did as much with it as I wish they would have done with it,
right?
Because to me, the whole film's like that.
To me, it almost felt like that was just their way to like insert like Dragon Ball Z clips, you know, of like stuff that's happened or Dragon Ball clips.
Yeah,
and I don't know which ones are the ones in the original.
I think the Kaioken one was actually in there.
The Kaioken is real. The one where he's with Frieza. The Goku Black's not.
And the one with Golden Frieza is not.
Yeah, and
was it just two then?
He sees is what's that?
Was it just 2 edits then?
2 edits, yeah. And then there's a soundtrack. He brings.
And then I remember that there's like a part where like the notification comes down on the
screen. Yeah. I was like, this definitely wasn't in the movie, the original.
This was just buying copyright
Rhyme Style
time.
Just uploaded a video. Yeah.
Because he doesn't. I feel like that power. It doesn't really. Like, I don't know how much of an advantage it actually is, as much as it is just a storytelling like apparatus or mechanism, and that's kind of where I was like, this superpower kind of seems like it's useful, but it's also not useful. Like it just seems kind of like
which one, the psychic?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
it was I think it kind of helped put him in perspective. I think that was the biggest thing with Bardock is you guys brought up is he was a mercenary killing for his job, money, whatever. And to kind of find out where he's doing all this loyal, dedicated, no questions about what I got to do, or why is it, or who am I doing this for? Obviously for Frieza. But then to come to find out you do all of that just to have your boy turn your back on you. Frieza now wants you. You're too much of a threat.
Exactly.
To me, that's crazy that you work so hard, you do your goal thinking that this is what I'm supposed to do. This is what I'm climbing. This is what I'm doing. Like this is what I was told that I'm supposed to be doing. To come to find out, now your own actions kind of made you a little too dangerous. Exactly. So I thought that was a pretty cool way to
and you're facing death too, right? At that point, like he's facing death. Like now he's being sought out to be dead. And I think in many, it makes me think about parts of our lives, right? Like where sometimes we are working and we're doing exactly what we think we're supposed to do. And then when you finally realize it, how this fool said earlier of like, you're on your deathbed. And then that's when you finally realize of like, oh, maybe things could have been a little different.
Yeah. And you think about like what legacy you're willing to leave behind, because obviously life is fleeting and at one point it's going to come to an end for everyone. And through all the sins that we've committed, because we've all committed sins, right? We're no different than Bardock in that regard. Granted, I hope we haven't committed the ones he has. But no one's infallible, right? We've all been.
You're not destroying planets on the weekend?
Yeah.
Just conquering planets.
Just conquering planets.
Yeah. Conquering. But if you could find peace, like on your, in the last few moments, in the last few breaths that you take, then I think, and you know what, if you're happy with the legacy you leave behind, what you've built for those that will come after you, you can find peace with that. And I think in that regard, I think Bardock shows some of that. Like he's okay going out this way. He wouldn't want to live by leaving Planet Vegeta and then like, I'm out. I'm not. He could have used this psychic,
to dip.
And leave his boys behind. But, he has integrity, even in the corrupted soul that he may have. But he's no more corrupted than any of us that battle with internal struggles and like, our moral compass and doing things we know may be wrong, but we still do them, and then we try to rationalize them, like uh and that's why I felt like he had those, he was real. Like he wasn't this esoteric, like God created creature that's like, wow, this guy, he can't do no wrong. He figured life out. This is God in human form.
He just different cloth. That's not what
like,
we find with Bardock. He's not.
No.
He's actually cut from the very same cloth many of us are.
Yeah, I'd say all of us are. Like everyone is the hero of their own movie, even if within that movie it's actually a malicious one, a malevolent one. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that piece, and it's like, man, now I see why people like Bardock so much. There's layers to his character, almost like Vegeta,
Mm-hmm.
Legend needs to drop a Kid Vegeta out of that movie.
Yeah,
Legend needs to drop.
That'd be a great. He's a very ruthless individual, which is.
I love how he barges into Frieza's office.
Yeah,
this is my boy right here.
Yeah. He already has the hairline too.
Yep, starting off young.
Yeah.
Well, if it counts for anything, though, that means his hairline has been healthy this whole time. Then.
Yeah,
I mean,
it technically
that's what it's telling me. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, shout out to that man with his hair products.
Yeah. But you know what? It's like that's also what helps Vegeta. Like as Vegeta kind of goes through the series, he feels on a much greater scale and a much deeper level a lot of the same things that Bardock feels, and you see that when he fights Majin Buu, like
there's the acceptance piece.
Yeah.
When he goes out like a beast.
Exactly, and he's accepted that he says it even when he's seeing Goku fight, and he's like, I used to kill for the sheer pleasure of killing, and like, and here you are, like, you have power that like is beyond people's imaginations, but you wouldn't hurt a fly, and that makes Goku a little too, like, what do you say? Like I said earlier, esoteric. Like, yeah, it's just so he's so above everyone in terms of his moral compass that it doesn't make it relatable, because like we all kind of don't have that. I mean, we want to follow integrity and a code, and our ethics, but we all sometimes, come to a crossroads and we have to make a decision, and maybe the decision is in our best interest, but not in the best interest of everyone else. And so, Goku doesn't have that. And so it feels like that's what makes him a little less relatable. But Vegeta has kind of the Bardock thing where, he has these internal struggles, and I think that's what makes him redeeming, and then, King Vegeta, he's just there, dude. Like, let's just be honest. At this point,
what did y'all think about Frieza and his boys? How do you think they were portrayed? You think it was enough? You think it wasn't enough?
Not enough. And one thing I didn't like is that Bardock handled the rest of the crew, and then Big Boy Dodoria just sits there and blasts him away, and he doesn't even move. Like, he's like stuck. Like, I was like, what a weak way to go out. Like, no offense, Bardock, but how is he gonna dance with the four of them, handle them? You clearly can see where the man is at, and he opens his mouth. You just stand there in shock. Like, come on, guys, do Bardock a little more.
Yeah, the strategy
is no one. Like, let's be honest.
That's what I wrote in here. I'm like, wow, Dodoria was a beast back here, huh? He was,
apparently,
how far we've come.
Yeah.
How far we've come, dude.
And it's like,
your boy Zarbon.
Yeah, Zarbon as well.
Was sick. No, but okay. So here's what I'll say to how they're portrayed. I like Frieza, but I like Frieza because he has a personality to him. He's funny.
And he sticks to it. Like, he's consistent. Like, he does not care. He's just gonna kill.
Yeah,
and that's his thing. He doesn't want no one to be a threat to him.
But here's the thing, though. I wish we'd get a story into Frieza. Frieza is a villain for all intents and purposes. He is a definite, like, malicious soul. But I want to know why. Does this stem from, like, his family? Does it stem from where he's from?
I think they have a lineage of evil.
Ah. Yeah, it could be. It's just like, and so you know, that's Frieza's way of operating. It's very linear. He is the antithesis of Goku, who does all good, but Frieza does all bad. Like,
And they're above a cut above everyone else. Like
yeah,
Frieza is more powerful than King Cool or his boy Cooler.
that boy King Cool.
Yeah, that boy King Cool.
Good. That guy had a big role in the series.
He made his big screen debut in the Super Broly Super movie.
They brought him back after he had that beautiful performance against Trunks.
Oh yeah, they like what
decimated
they saw.
like in 1 second. I felt like there was more there. I felt like it was just kind of Frieza was there to act as a foil to Bardock, and the Saiyans at large. But I want to know why Frieza is this evil villain. And that's kind of why I said, like, could this movie be a trilogy? When you make it so that you can almost relate to the villain, it's almost like Bardock. You're kind of rooting for Bardock, but he's done some stuff, like, and it's like, dang, how could I be rooting for him? Like, I know he's done bad things, and I wish they could have done that with Frieza, right? I don't know how you felt.
No, I agree. I definitely think that if they want to go back and make I don't know if it's going to necessarily be a 3-part, but redo this and give it a little more depth to it. Like, give us some depth behind Frieza, Dodoria, Zarbon.
Yeah.
Obviously those two are his boys. Why those two?
Yeah, the right.
It's not because Dodoria's physique. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like he's seen this guy and this dude's going to carry. Like,
yeah, this
man
is a
barely walk.
Specimen.
He's like tired. A little more layers to it. Like to me, like the biggest miss on this little special was just my boy Bardock's crew. They could have easily expanded in that. Like they had.
You obviously really enjoyed the
bro.
crew.
I was enjoying my boy Tora. He was just tearing my boy Bardock apart. And it's like, why didn't they have to? I like what they had, that coherence in, like, where Bardock is the leader, he's the stud, but they're all close enough where I can talk shit about him and he's not gonna kill me.
Yeah.
I think it's relatable.
Something Frieza doesn't have.
Yeah, you make a joke on Frieza. Yeah. Oh, where's your planet?
Yeah.
And that's what I kind of. That's what I like. That's what I like about Frieza, though. It's like he doesn't. It's not that he doesn't know the cues of that, but he's just so like wrapped up in his own like line of thinking that like a joke that he wouldn't find funny, like it would end with you dying. And like, and it's just so like the extreme.
Stakes are so high when you're ready, when you're about to say a joke. You're like, this punchline better be good.
So I love the intensity that he brings, and he does it in such like a subtle way where he just like, even when he like chews out Dodoria, or he's just like, you couldn't do this fucking thing that I told you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like,
I'm sure he's dead.
Yeah.
I'm sure
I will say this: they did give him props that he didn't take out Dodoria. Because I was gonna say, does he kill him here? I was like, no, because I remember him in Dragon Ball Z.
No, so he doesn't kill him, but he definitely is like,
I think that gave him a little depth right there. Like, this is my crew of idiots.
That man's already preparing his life insurance and stuff.
Yeah,
like, I'm about to die right now. But I think I'm going to echo similar things to both of you. I think Frieza's my favorite character out of like the whole anime, because I just really enjoy his character. But I think he was just here just as a placeholder. Like, they needed to give a villain, and he's there. One thing that I find interesting about this special is that there's actually very little fighting.
Right.
It's mostly all, to me, it was mostly all just storytelling. Like, it for the most part. Like, and it was so captivating, which I think now we get a lot of movies, at least the Broly movie. I thought it was heavily like just fighting.
The story was the fight.
The story was the fight. And I think that this shows that if they put their minds to it, I think Dragon Ball can create really layered stories, which I enjoyed. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I don't need all the fighting, but I do wish that this is my only knock against Frieza and Bardock's dynamic is that we never got to see them like fight
hand to hand.
But I don't know but that may be just by design, of just Frieza just being that much
more powerful.
More powerful.
Or he didn't want that noise. he didn't want that noise, so he's like, I'm gonna go ahead and eliminate this before it becomes a problem.
Well, he probably saw Bardock literally carrying his whole squad on
he's like, let's go ahead and get flying towards him and the rest of the trash hanging on to him.
I'm taking
because
this whole team out.
Obviously they can't do anything to help me here. I like how you look up and they're just littering out of the ship, just littering. I'm like, that's how desperate the Frieza is. He's all like,
he's just picking dudes up
so
off
bad,
the
I'm gonna need to
street.
send out at least 1,000 guys to hopefully slow this low level Saiyan. Like, and this is the elites.
Yeah,
these are the elites. I'm like, damn.
The elites, yeah.
We really just toss that word around now in this show.
We do. There is a lot of elitism thrown out there, and it's like, oh, really? That's elite?
And they don't really live up to the billing.
Yeah, they don't.
I mean, King Vegeta is supposed to be part of that high, that tier, in terms of where he ranks within the Saiyans, and he is he's someone that I wish they could have done better. Because like what I told Bless is like, all we see is Vegeta, all we see is Goku as Saiyans, like, and we'll get some Broly here and there, and then Gohan, he's a human really. He loses his Saiyan license once he becomes a great Saiyan man. Goten is kind of oblivious to the world, so it's like here we have he's a kid, right? So
well, you see the difference between the kid like Goten and like Vegeta, right? Like, just on a different
because and that's true.
Like,
I mean, to a degree. Right? Yeah, that's true because like and even with Goku, like had Goku been raised on planet Vegeta, who knows how he would have turned out? And then you see your boy Gohan there at the end, pick him up.
Yeah.
And I mean, hey, I give props to the I don't know if I should say I give props, but they weren't afraid. They weren't afraid to show it all. Because my boy Goku did not have any bottoms on.
Yeah, they showed this little weenie in there.
Yeah, that thing is just flapping out there.
But see, like now that like that I have a son, like and same with kid Chi-Wing. It wasn't to me. It didn't really. I didn't even notice that. Like I saw it, but I didn't even. It didn't even. Yeah, it just. But
it makes it more real. Like it makes it more.
And I think that just comes down with maturity. Like, I mean,
15 years ago, I would have been like,
I mean, it's just
I thought it had a super strong. I thought it started off super strong. I'm like, wow, this is a really great start to a film. Like. Not when he's crying, but like just like the opening scene where they like are monkeys and like
they're just wrecking.
They're just wrecking stuff, and I'm like, oh, this is really good. Like I like this, and then it jumps into Goku. And he's like crying and stuff. Like it was I thought they started off really strong. Even in the middle, I thought it was okay, and then towards the end, I was like, okay, they're just trying to wrap it up. But it's I thought it started.
Yeah, in terms of the actual scenery, you're like, they're definitely like, all right, boys. The longer we go, the more this is actually going to have to be a movie and not a special. So let's wrap it up. But the story tried to stay consistent throughout, and they tried to tell it, even though I feel like I would have liked it to have been a little more fleshed out. And this is one point I was going to bring up is this is why I like Naruto. And, Naruto, people have their criticisms of Naruto, and that's totally fine. Naruto operates on this level throughout most of the story, right? Throughout most of the show. And they expand on it. And so the way they took Dragon Ball went this route. They used kind of specials and movies to tell these off characters that aren't the main characters, that would be Vegeta, Goku, their story. Naruto had this thing in Shippuden. Naruto's notorious for fillers. If you guys don't know what fillers is, or fillers are, it's episodes that are
nothing really do with the main storyline.
Right, nothing that has. They're just stopgaps there for to give them another week to continue developing the story, and then they normally just have nothing. You want to skip them. What they did with Shippuden though, especially towards the end, is they took these characters that people loved, and at one point almost felt one-dimensional, and they used what would have otherwise have been used for fillers. They use those episodes to tell their story. So Minato, one of the Hokages, you see his story. Madara, you see his story, right? Obito, you see his story. And so what happens is people end up loving Obito, and Obito is a villain, but he has, like we said earlier, he's a hero of his own story.
He's sympathetic. He's a sympathetic
villain. He started off a good guy. Life was hard. Choices made him go to where he had to go, and then it ended where it ended.
Yeah,
I won't spoil it for the people who haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, and it's a great way to develop these individuals, and so you end up like Bless, for instance. Me, I like Naruto, and I do like Sasuke, but Bless, that was his guy. Sasuke was his guy. And if you saw Sasuke, I mean, there are times he's texting me and he's like, "Dang it, Sasuke!" Like, because Sasuke does some vicious things, and he's like, "But that's my guy," you know. But because Sasuke, there's a story there.
Yeah.
He has a very troubled past, right? And they just do a great way of creating this dynamic where there are these characters who are villainous for all intents and purposes. They're malevolent, but because they're such a good story, they're relatable, and you end up liking them. And you find yourself in this Bardock dynamic where you're like, "Dang it, this guy's done bad stuff."
Well, you know what I'm kind of finding out is I'm more of a fan of the anti-hero than the hero. I'll be more attached to the anti-hero, you know, that does the right thing but in his way. You know,
that's Vegeta, right? Like that's the epitome of Vegeta. He's like the anti-hero.
And that's what I appreciate, because I mean, let's be honest, in life, like, we don't all make, you know, the right decisions, but it doesn't mean we're bad people for it. You know, for example, Sasuke, he was troubled. He had a troubled childhood. He made some questionable decisions, but
very questionable, yeah.
You know, he ended up finding out what's up. He's a good guy. I mean, that's my boy.
I mean, even Kakashi, right? And I know Chewie, I don't want to deviate too much, but like Kakashi is viewed as like the big brother in the show, and he's a guide to Sasuke, Naruto, and Sakura. But I mean,
well, the reason he has just literally we mentioned 5 characters, and you can talk about, like, if you actually saw the show, there's like their full stories pretty much. Like, and the thing with Naruto, when you see like towards the end of the show, you know every character and they're pretty much their full story.
Yep.
So yeah, like, you're very embedded into the characters. But with Dragon Ball, it's like you're only gonna root for the guy who's sick.
And I think it speaks to that point that you're talking about the group, right? Like the group, like that is an opportunity right there, right? Like the group could have been expanded more.
Yes.
Like Bardock's, you know, so yeah, it's a missed opportunity.
I was a big fan of that, my boy.
Like, people like Vegito because he looks cool and he has a cool personality, but like, it isn't because his backstory is endearing. You know?
It's not like Vegito doesn't struggle. Like, he's a man fused with 2 of the world's strongest.
Yeah, he doesn't struggle. He's like a perfect thing, right?
Like, that's my favorite character in Dragon Ball. Granted, it's not it's not a single character.
Yeah.
But I prefer, like, if you were to ask me, okay, if I had to choose one Dragon Ball character, one Naruto character, I would choose Naruto because the story, like, Sasuke is probably my favorite anime character of all time.
It's nuts, dude. His story's nuts.
Yeah, like, that's my boy.
And even Naruto, who is he had a lot of criticism. There was a lot of criticism towards Naruto at the beginning because it felt just kind of like a carbon copy of Goku. Naruto also has a story to him, and that's what I like with Bardock. Is like, there's a story here. And I wish they could. Dude, Bardock would be. He's already a fan favorite, but you know, everything about it, from his internal struggle with just kind of how he operates, and you know, what we all face on a day-to-day basis. And then in the sense of, like, am I doing what's right? I think I am, but this is the world I live in. This is the hand I'm dealt. This is what I have to do. To also, I have a child now, and even though I'm disappointed in one way, that's still my child, and I have the power to.
We see him grow in the special.
You do see him grow in such a short time, and so, you know.
And there's a level of, like, mystique about him too, right? Because it's like they never address, like, how he was raised, or like that's kind of what I like about it too. Is like, they don't.
I thought I honestly thought that's what this special was gonna be, like a full. I didn't think it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be a full Bardock, like the whole life story of Bardock.
You see, but I think that could be a whole series, and I think that they maybe know that, because it's like, We don't know where his scars from.
You can have Fasha,
right.
You can
know
have
what I'm saying? Like that could be a whole series, you know what I'm saying?
King Cole, I mean not King Cole.
Should it be? That's a question. Should it be?
I think so.
I think there's enough mystique
You're not
about
gonna
him,
necessarily make this show like I don't think you would go into that thinking, all right, I'm gonna compete with Dragon Ball as far as power and
popularity.
Bardock's nowhere near that.
Yeah. Oh,
but as far as later, I mean, you can honestly go down more of a Naruto path with that series.
Yeah.
I mean, I think Bardock's a good character. I honestly was blown away with Tora. Like, I mean, granted, I don't know if they just, you know, the guy who did the English voiceover decided to, you know, add his own swag to it and make it a little than what it actually was. But I think right there, Bardock and his crew, that is right there is an amazing story that you can go into. And that's not even going into Frieza's life on how we got to where we got.
Yeah. Right. I do like there was some symbolism in the part that I really did enjoy, and it's in relation to the squad, and I think this was a way to like symbolize the squad, is when he puts on the bandana that's blood.
Yep.
And I didn't even know that's why it's red. And I thought that was a really cool, like, symbolic piece that they added into the film, or like the special, you know, like I'm fighting with the blood of my folks. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is the blood that is, I'm fighting with them, you know what I'm saying? And that's I thought that part was.
I was going to bring that. I never knew that bandana was was red because of blood. I thought it was just a red bandana. I thought he was just throwing it up, you know?
Yeah. Ooh. Nah, but I agree. I like that because it shows you, like, for all his flaws and demons that he has, he's still within
loyal.
He's loyal. And he's a man of integrity, like
in his own world, in his context of what
integrity is.
You know, killing for mercenary, you kind of lose the word integrity there.
Well, yeah, but that's why I say, like, he operates within the context of his world. You know, like, where I don't want to draw it to real life, you know, but like.
Well, you should.
Really quick. You know, we all know, like, okay, our phones, we know where they're made. And we know that that's probably something 50 years looking back, people are going to be like, what the hell? Why were you guys using phones that were made that way and made from there? Mm-hmm. And it's true. It's like.
What I'm getting a little lost. What do you mean by
our cell phones, right?
Child labor you're talking about?
Yeah, like the intensive labor, like the bad, you know.
Labor practices that's
conducted in, like, China and I don't want to say a lot of certain specific country, but, like, that's just an example of something that we could deal and struggle with ourselves, you know. But like I said, we're operating within the context of the world that we're in, and Bardock in that regard is, for all his flaws, which again, he is flawed, he's committed sins. He kind of towards the end tries to right his wrongs, even though he never will be able to atone for them. But it makes him relatable. And that's why, like, I feel towards the end, he's at peace with his ending, because he knows, like, listen, it's almost like, I don't know if you guys have ever, like, if you know much about the samurai chewing, maybe you do, I don't know. But I know samurais, they look for a warrior's death, you know. And they're at peace with dying that way, right? And I feel like this is there was no other way Bardock would want to go out. He doesn't want to go out because, like, he had a heart attack, you know, and a heart virus, you know, or he falls off something and he hits his head and he's gone. Like, this is it. Like, he's at peace with going out this way. He knows he's not infallible. He's made mistakes. He's sinned.
I think also seeing that Goku was going to be the one to defeat Frieza kind of made it a little bit easier too. That knowing that I'm not the one that's supposed to beat him,
and he's okay with that. Mm-hmm. It's very easy for you to be like, I want to be the guy. Like, I want to be the hero. And
it's like an ego. It's an ego thing, right?
Right. Like, I want it to be me, but.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting that it's interesting that you bring that up, because I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, there's also another shift in him that I'm noticing right now that you just said that. It's like there's a distinction in the warrior code, that there's a difference between being a soldier and being a warrior. And if you see the beginning of the movie, Bardock is a soldier, where he is told directions, he is told orders, and he does it without even flinching an eye. He's like, okay, cool, I'm gonna do that. And a lot of the times we mix that up, right? Of like being a soldier and being a warrior. And being a warrior, right, it is that part of like, I'm going to die an honorable death, dying and believing what is right, and I'm fighting for what I believe is true, as opposed to fighting for somebody else's idea of what it's supposed to be, which is where the
and simply because they're telling you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I think so. I'm seeing that there's also that transgression of like, I mean, it really fits into the Japanese idea of model of being what a warrior is, and maybe that's why it's also an appealing story. Is I think we internally want to be warriors, but sometimes it's hard because, at least in this country, I think we get indoctrinated to be soldiers, right? To just follow orders without
question
it. Yeah.
I agree.
Well, and that's certainly true for a lot of like the 21st century. I mean, that's China's thing. That's like North Korea. There's so many parts of the world that's like, you just do what you're told to do, and this is it. And it doesn't allow for free thinking. And like you said, the distinction between a soldier and a warrior is a warrior's doing it out of his or her own, like, free
just layers to
thinking
special, which I think is cool. I mean, you can interpret this movie in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, like and like you said, a soldier will just do it for the simple fact of, I'm told this is it, this is the way it is, you know. But
yeah, and then you have consequences like what he was faced, right? Like I think about our military and folks that go into military. I mean, I think it's a very similar dichotomy, right? It's like you're being told and you're going to war, you're doing all these things, and then you come back and then it's like, oh snap, I did all these things, you know what I'm saying? Or I saw a lot of these things.
Yeah, not to get like
a PTSD type of thing.
Yep.
I think that's kind of what he suffers from. He kind of suffers.
If you hear exactly, and if you hear the stories of like veterans, they'll talk about how when they come back, it's almost as if they missed a part of life, because it's like,
they're like going on over here.
Yeah, exactly. And so they come back, they're like, what? You guys are using these phones? Mm-hmm. And Bardock has that. Like when he comes back to tell the boys, like, or the Saiyans, like, we're going to die. Like, this is it. Like we would do here with some folks like that. We'd be like, dude, of course, like, get on with, like, this is it. This is where we're at. Get with the wave, you know, like Bardock's looked at like, you're crazy. What are you talking about? And they're laughing at him. And then they die a pitiful death, you know. But anyways, I know we got reviews, and I know that this week it's Chiween's turn. So Chiween, I'm gonna let you take it over from here.
All right. So as we did last week, we looked into some reviews that folks posted. And I was telling these dudes earlier that like this film is interesting, or this special is because it's very overwhelmingly people just give it 5 stars, right? Overwhelmingly, it's just like everywhere that you go, it's just 5 stars. And there was only really one 1-star review that I found that said this by T.E. Layman.
All right, give it to me.
I didn't purchase this.
Okay, that's okay.
And I wouldn't.
Oh no!
Why is this even on my list? My kids have better taste than this garbage that I just saw.
I think he saw
that might be the first Dragon Ball thing he's ever seen in his life.
He probably hasn't seen.
No way a Dragon Ball Z fan reacts like that.
So I mean,
he saw the YouTube version too.
Okay, well maybe this one speaks to you. This is a 5-star review, and the name of the review is called Bardock. You rule, baby.
Ooh, let's go.
Well, I only saw this 2 days ago for the first time. And as a newly recruited Dragon Ball Z fan, parentheses, that is a solid fan of the past 2 years, I have to say that this was fantastic. Ooh. Bardock was beautiful.
Okay.
And that is a term I only use for Piccolo and Vegeta.
Ooh.
I have to say that I see the resemblance between Bardock and Goku, but there's this self-sacrificing and caring nature that share, although Bardock was buried. And Vegeta. Well, he was beautiful.
He was beautiful. I mean, he loved it. This dude, but actually, that was a great review. If you, especially that second part, I see why he likes Piccolo and Vegeta. Piccolo himself, as we saw with Evolution, he was a malevolent soul, and you know, he himself goes through his own journey of like discovering.
He chose 3 characters that like redeemed themselves in the story. Like they start
exactly.
off,
Exactly.
I just thought his wording was funny because he's just it's beautiful and just fantastic.
He loved it.
He loved it.
Yeah. I don't know.
The last one is by Shannon. This is called A Tragic Tale for All Ages. I was almost in tears the first time I saw this. Full of unforgettable moments and characters. This movie keeps my heart pounding and mind racing up until the very end. The inevitability of the Saiyajin extermination almost gets pushed to the background as you cheer on for the most unlikely hero of the franchise. It was written before Jaco the Galactic Patrolman. So the story is different from canon, but still well worth the watch.
I agree. I mean, I don't know about being in tears almost, but that was but you know what? It's true. Like, we know what the ending is going to be, but you still watch it and you still root for Bardock. And man, and Chiwin, you have your criticisms of the series at whole, especially Super. And where, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but where there aren't enough moments like these, there aren't enough storylines like these where there's depth to a character and there's tragedy at the end of it, and possible tragedy. Maybe it won't happen, but there's possible tragedy. In Dragon Ball, it feels like there's no stakes, right? Like, or especially in Super, it feels like there's no stakes. And that wasn't the case here.
Yeah, I agree. I think, Super just kind of, to me, it just seems like just a big, like, let's just fight just to fight. And that's just kind of what it feels like to me. How much time we got left? Should we cut it? All right. Let's give our reviews then. Out of 7 Dragon Balls, what would you give this? What rating would you give this?
Me first?
Sure. Go ahead, dude.
5. 5 stars, only because they could have easily expanded on the characters more. Had they done that, 7, bro.
I'll go. I guess I'll go. It's 5 as well. I was gonna give it a 6 because I'm thinking, man, this thing was made 30 years ago, maybe 31 years ago, and it came out 30 years ago, and so, I think had they made this film now, I would like to think it would be more fleshed out. There'd be more depth to it. But for the fact that it was made 30 years ago, this is a great film. Like, within the Dragon Ball context, we know Dragon Ball, when you sit down and watch a movie, I mean, it could really be hit or miss. And to me, this was a good movie. I enjoyed it. I think people would enjoy it. I think if you sit down and you immerse yourself in it and you start thinking about the deeper, points at large, I think you'll enjoy it. And it makes a character that people really like. It gives him, kind of like, there's reason to why people like him.
For me, I was going to start off, I started off with Worried, and I think I was originally going to give this a 4. So I think it's solid, but I think through this conversation, I think that I've realized that it's a little bit more layered than I thought it was. And I think it did a really good job within the time frame that it did have. So I would say that I would give it a 5 as well. I think
that's what the Caffeine and Sensu Beans podcast will do to you.
It's just, I think it's a solid movie. I think it's a solid special. It's not perfect, but it's, it's solid.
Mama.
is there you know, I know we're gonna wrap it up here. What do you guys think for next week, or should we talk about that offline?
I think why don't we watch Fusion Reborn?
Let's do it. Fusion Reborn.
Sure,
Fusion Reborn.
I'll actually have to rewatch it because I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a while.
I've never seen it. So
that's one of the fan favorites right there, Gogeta. So
we're about to see.
We're about to find out.
Legends is onto something by not giving him a good card yet.
Yeah,
no, not even, bro. He's the only one. Like that's the. I mean, we're gonna go a little far, but it's like Gogeta's the only one out of the two fusions that actually finished somebody.
Yeah, this is very true. All right, y'all. We're gonna wrap it up. You know, thank you guys again for, you know, taking the time to listen to this. I know we're trying something new and we're enjoying these conversations, you know, taking movies and from Dragon Ball, the Dragon Ball franchise, and dissecting them, you know, and seeing kind of if there are layers to these movies. And I mean, certainly they're going to be, you know, the evolutions and the Bio Brolys of the world, but you know, hopefully we find along this journey some movies that offer us a lot of depth and a lot of talking points. But with that, you know, again, thank you. We will leave all our descriptions down, and or we'll leave all our Twitter handles and you know, Instagram, social media down in the description below. Feel free to ask us any questions. Feel free to give us feedback, any comments. You know, have you guys watched the movie or the special? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Why? Yeah, I mean, with that, we can end it. Gentlemen, do you have any closing thoughts?
On me.
Good.
Not today.
Nope.
All right. Well, then, yeah, with that, thank you guys again for taking the time to listen. And until next time, stay safe until we come up with another slogan.
Ninja.